are all traveling inevitably towards the end of our lives. We all have a decision to live a life with no purpose or to live a life full of fulfillment and purpose. The race is on. What are you going to be doing and what will you do about this?
As a Christian woman, I'm preoccupied with why exactly am I here? Why has God created me? These are the thoughts that crosses my mind.
The question that we should have as women is, am I really fulfilling the purpose of God for my life? And what are the steps that I need to take even in fulfilling the purpose of God for my life?
Thank you for joining us on today's episode with Time Out with the Ladies. I'm sure that you found our previous episode very interesting and very educative. Thank you for all the comments. We have received all of them and we have even received topics for our next discussion from them. So let's go back to our episode today. As usual, with us today on this show is our delectable mommy. I call her mommy of the whole wide world. Please join me as I welcome the wife of the General Overseer of Foursquare Gospel Church in Nigeria, Reverend Mrs. B.C. Aboyeji. You're welcome, ma.
You're welcome.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Before we go into all the issues that has to do with purpose that we're discussing today, sit back as we go on this short break. See you. Welcome back. So today we are going to be discussing purpose. What's my purpose? What's your purpose? Am I here as a woman just to get married or not get married or just to pay bills? Why are we here? Tracy, you want to?
Yes, thank you very much, Mom. So when we're talking about purpose, we're talking about the reason why you're existing, the reason why you are actually on earth, because there's a reason why each and every human is here on earth. So that's what purpose is really about. Why are you existing? What is that assignment God has given to you? So now we're talking about purpose when we define it.
Okay, mommy.
Purpose is what we want to do, what we are planning to do. And when we look at purpose as women of God, what is the purpose of our being alive? Why were we created? We know that we are created for the glory of God. That is the purpose. God created each and every one of us for a purpose. And the purpose is for us to give glory to Him.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. So let's hear our moment. Again, like I said at the beginning, I said, are we just here as women, just to be women, to pay bills, or to dress gorgeously, or to just roam around here till our father calls us home? What is purpose? Why are we even here? And how do we identify what it is?
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
For that question. What I will say concerning purpose for a woman, for anyone, God has created every human being for a purpose. He did not create anyone without a purpose. And that is one thing that we should understand as a lady, a single girl, or a married lady, that you have a purpose for existing upon the planet of the earth. And that's why in Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11 says, the plan that I have for you, they are of good, and it is to bring you to a future and a hope and of a future. So you have a future, you have a hope, and there is a purpose for your creation. Then the next question you will ask yourself is, how do I fulfill this purpose? If it is indeed true that I have a purpose, why God has created me in this, created me to come to this earth. And another thing I want to say is that, there may be different purposes concerning your life. For example, now when you are a single girl, you have a purpose for being this, or a purpose for being at that particular work the work you are doing for a particular time. Then when you come to your husband's house again, there may be a purpose. Is there no purpose? That was Esther. When Mordecai was telling her, is there no purpose for you to be in the king's house at this particular time? The purpose was to save the children of Israel from being destroyed from the land. So there must be purpose. The purpose can be in levels and in different forms. So those are the things we need to look at. It may not be together at once, right from the time you are born, but it may be in different forms. Then you bring it together under the umbrella of God, leading you to fulfill that particular purpose.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm very happy that we're trying to bear out our mind in purpose. The word purpose is quite a wide subject. So, but I want to ask Tracy, as a young person, you're representing a wide demography and with different mindsets, different school of thought. What's your perspective? How has it been for how is it like for young people identifying purpose? Is there a pressure? What is it? Let's hear so that our mommies can speak to it.
Thank you. Actually, this topic is a very vital topic and very, very important. The truth is this: I'm a single lady, proudly single. Okay, and there's so many single ladies out there who are experiencing a lot of pressure.
Right.
Yes, because okay, we're talking about purpose, fulfilling purpose, and all of that. Okay, they've heard from God. This is what God is telling them to do. This is the part God is telling them. Okay, this is what you're to fulfill. But you have parents, parental pressure. Oh, you're approaching 30. You must get married, and God is telling you it is not time. There is something I need you. There's an assignment I need you to fulfill. But parents are saying no. You are approaching 30, you are leaving my house. If once you are 30 and you're not married, you're leaving. Then you also have monitoring spirits in the church. Pardon me, please. In the church or even in the society. They are looking at you. Not ring yet. See your hand. Your hand is still bare. And you know the pressure is just too much. All of these things. And most times it actually forces these youths, these singles, to make decisions that you're not supposed to make. The pressure is just too much. It's actually too much. And it's something I think that we need to address.
Okay, thank you very much, Tracy. Mommies, please, do you want to speak to this pressure? Because she has said something that is very, very... She has indicted our mommies.
Actually, I like to speak on this because we really need to look into this. And I want to actually appeal to our mommies especially, because it's not good at this point to put this youth under pressure. It is very, very delicate and we need to be careful, especially when we are talking about Christian parents. Christian parents, we have to look at this thing not on the surface. And what we need to do as Christians is to actually take it to the Lord in prayers. Yes, you have brought up these youth in the way of the Lord. You have taught them the way to pray. And a child, you should be able to look at that child and really assess, okay, this child is saying this is what God is telling her. In that case, as a parent, what should be done is to take it to the Lord in prayers, because pressure can lead to so many things that we should be very, very careful about. So my advice is that first, the parent need to take it to the Lord in prayers, because we know that God is not an author of confusion. Whatever is revealed to the child, when we ask, the Lord will direct. And to the child herself, that child also need to display the heart of really praying and be sure of what God is actually saying, so that we will not be taken aback or just be running with the flesh, but we need to actually seek the face of the Lord. Parents, I really want to emphasize that we need not put these children under pressure. We need to hold them up in prayers so that they will take the right decision.
Thank you very much, ma. I want to try and understand the perspective of parents. So, at times, these young people, like as she has said, they say they have prayed and they are convinced that they need to wait, like she has said. So, but what really is at the back of the mind of our parents when they don't want to agree with our young people? For example, as she has said, she said that at 30 or almost 30, trying to have achieved XYZ, so you're supposed to be getting ready to marry or married. So, with all the reasons they seem to have, which may be very, very cogent to them, our parents don't seem to see it. Or why is there this chaos or this disagreement among parents? And what should we do? What should the young person do, and what should our parents do?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I thank God for what Sister Runke has spoken concerning, and shedding light on it and talking to our parents to take it easy. I will join her to say the same thing, but all the same, the parents are just trying to show their concern for their children. They have concern right from the time they were born up to their adult age. They've been concerned, and they want everything, the goodness of their lives, to be before them. So that has been their prayers. That is why they need to take it easy. They need to understand, and just like she has said, prayer. You cannot do anything by yourself. God has a purpose for everyone, and He has a timing. When we are talking about purpose, purpose is joined with timing. There is time that that particular purpose will be manifested. But if we don't want the timing, then we will not have it the way it's supposed to be. That's why you see some, when they are overpressured, they will tell you, any guy that comes, let me marry, might be an unbeliever and somebody that is not even compatible with their life. But because the parents said, go, it's time to go. Just bring anybody, let you go, so that you can have space in this, all those kind of a thing. The person is pushed outside, and she will not wait for her own timing. God has time for everything, and God has time for purpose to be fulfilled. It wasn't the day Jesus Christ was born on the surface of earth that He went to the cross of Calvary to die for our sin. True. It's time. Yes, He said, for this purpose is the Son of Man manifested to destroy the works of the devil. That is 1 John chapter 3 verse 8. Jesus has to go through every challenges and everything before that purpose was fulfilled on the cross of Calvary. Should be patient. Let's wait for God's time. What we desire will come to manifestation in the lives of our daughters.
Amen. Amen. In asking her to talk about young people, she quickly went into marriage or no marriage. Must every girl marry?
It depends. According, that's why we are saying concerning, purpose. What's it? We want two things are very important in life. You should ask yourself, just as we have started it, we say, what is the purpose of my existence in life? Why am I on this planet Earth? If you are very close to God, you can get it early and you run with it. But for some people, maybe it is around 25 years old that they come to know the Lord. You may not know, you won't start it on time, so it will still be shaking. Like Samuel, right from the time that Samuel was born, he was thrown into the house of Eli. So Samuel knew that at the end of the day, he will become a prophet. And he was. That one is not right. There are some people, their purpose, their purpose were made known right from the womb. Even before their conception, they have already announced that this is what they are coming to do on earth. That one is so simple. You follow it, you follow the line. But there are some, you get it along the way. What I want to say concerning that area is that everybody may eventually not marry, but you should be able to be personally convinced by you, not because of what is happening or because I did not get husband on time, I cannot wait. So you determine that, okay, I'm not going to marry. Even when the will of God comes to your life, you shun it off because I'm already 35, I'm already 40. So marriage is not for me. It may not be so. It may not be so. But if you know that God has destined you to marry and you want to marry, you still continue to believe God. And we have had a lot of examples of people that are 45, that are 50, and they married and they are happy and they have issues. There are many things like that. So you should know what's the purpose of God for your life. We have an example like Ruth. Even the husband died, no issue, nothing. She followed the mother-in-law Naomi back to the land of Israel. And Naomi was telling her, there's no, I don't, even if I have to give back now, the boy cannot, even if he's a boy, he can't grow up to be your husband. Why are you following me? Go back to your people. But there's a purpose in the life of Ruth. The purpose was that I want to serve the God of Israel. And anything the God of Israel can bless me with, I will take. And that was then she has a purpose that this woman, I don't want to leave her. I want to take care of her. Even whether there is anything or not. At the end of the day, I think the desire of Ruth was fulfilled. She had husband, she had children, and through her lineage, Jesus Christ came. That's his purpose. So we should be flexible. We should not allow any challenge to narrow or to make us to cut off the purpose of God for our lives.
Okay, let me throw this question. How then do we identify this purpose? Like I said at the beginning, that what preoccupies my mind is, why am I here? Why has God created me? So how do I identify this purpose? For every woman out there, even for every man, I'm sure at some point we have asked ourselves, or we are asking, some are still asking, some will still ask that, how do I identify, or whatever it is that I'm doing right now, how am I sure it is God's purpose for my life? Mommy, okay, do you want to start with that?
When I started, I mentioned that the question that each and every one of us should ask is to actually find out that, am I fulfilling the purpose of God for my life? And for us to go ahead, we need to actually identify that purpose. And how do we? Because we are now talking about the God factor. Because we know, the Bible made us to know that we are all created for a purpose. And God created us for his pleasure, to give glory to his name. Then, for me to identify that, I need to have to go back to God. All those questions that are bothering my mind to get the purpose is to be taken to God for God to direct. It is key at this stage to actually know the will, the purpose of God in creating me as a person. Each person needs to go back to God and ask God for direction. We pray, we study his word, we meditate on his word. And identifying that purpose that he has put in us is key for a successful life. And the only person that can open our eyes to it is God. Then we also have to, there is a school of thought that talk about purpose. That when our passion, our mission, and our profession come in together, the point where they meet, that is the point where our purpose is. And those things that we work on, those things that God has deposited in us, is to be used for his glory. And what is that purpose that God really created us for? He created us for his pleasure and to bring glory to him. And in bringing glory to him, we are to draw men to him. And whatever that is in us, whatever we are doing, should be driven towards that purpose of God, which is giving him glory, and through that bringing men to him. That is the main purpose of our creation, for men, for the name of God to be glorified. So it is an individual assignment for us to actually seek him, to know the direction and the purpose of our life. And there is some school of thought also that talks about the fact that when you are available to feedback, people give you feedback on what, on your relations with other people. From that, you can actually have an idea, but the major one is for you to actually receive it from God and allow God to actually direct, because it's another thing to get that purpose, and it's another thing for us to be obedient to that God really wants us to do.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Mom. I want to ask Mom again, how do we identify? She has said a lot of things. So I also want to take you on. You mentioned 2 Bible characters. You spoke about Ruth and you spoke about Samuel. I'm sure Ruth, did Ruth hear any word from anywhere that stick to your mother-in-law, follow her to Israel? Unlike Samuel, who God called, who heard the voice of the Lord. So how, as believers, she has talked about different school of thoughts, like your passion has to meet with your profession and your mission. Or when you get feedback, for example, there's something I do so well, right, ma? And the people are telling me that, oh, you're very good at this thing. So you say, okay, maybe that's where my purpose is. As Christian women, how do we identify this purpose? For Samuel, who is a man, he heard God called him. Like he said, from their womb. Like when Jesus wanted to be born, God told them, angels came to Mary. Ruth, there was no account that he heard anything. So how do we identify in this age, man? How do we identify our purpose?
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
This age, according to the standard of the Bible, is still the same age before.
Yeah.
So, what the question I first of all want us to ask, who is the owner of purpose?
God.
God.
Purpose comes from God. So, it's related with God. And that's when we say we want to know the purpose of God for our life, for our lives, I want us to really put God there, because it's the real factor. We didn't bring anything to this world except the one that the Lord has loaded us with. Right from the concept, when He created us in our mother's womb, that's the one that we brought to this world. Then now, how do we now discover what purpose has God? What is the purpose of God for my life? But what I will say, she has said a lot of it. You just need for somebody to be able to discover purpose of God, because we are saying of God. So the God factor is there, is to commit and totally put your trust in God. Serve Him. You have to serve Him, not deceitfully. You have to serve Him. You have to be obedient to Him, because if He's saying this, are you ready to follow what He's telling you to do? Say, this one, no, I cannot do this one. Even Samuel, that's the mother. Samuel is a woman, the mother gave birth to him. I said, at 1 year, I see maybe when he was let's say about 6 years old or 9 years old, then the mother returned him to the pastoral. And said you should go and stay there. He can say, mommy, it means I won't be seeing you again. I won't see my daddy again. Can I? No, I can't stay here. I can't stay here. I will miss a lot of things. Not only that, see the challenges. I miss hooligan boys that are not behaving well. And they are the children. I felt that you will be afraid of bullying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hannah even tried. So I waited that long to have a child. You know, I got the child.
So you see that, that one, the purpose was designed for him by the mother and God. So he has no much say. Because before he was born, his purpose for life has been determined.
Is that fair?
But that is a plan of God for his life.
The plan of God for his life. That's when we are talking of purpose, plan of God.
Purpose.
His mother did that.
Purpose of.
His mother manipulated the purpose. They say women are manipulators.
By prayer, because he went to ask of God for him. And he said, if God, you can give me this particular, there is a transaction between Hannah and God.
Transaction.
Wow. So that's that purpose is there. That's the plan, the destiny of Samuel, and the purpose of his life is tied to how the mother got him from God. So that's why I'm saying when we are talking about purpose, what is that? We need to be related to God very, very well to be at the center of our purpose for our life. If we are out of God, forget about it. You will get purpose, so it may not be, God may not be, maybe God will not back it up. So that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, you may not be happy with what you will get. So that's why we need to commit everything to the hand of God.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. So right now, we're going on a quick break. And when we come back, we'll pick it up from where she stops. See you soon. Welcome back to Time Out with Ladies. We've been having interesting conversation around the word purpose. What's our purpose? How can we identify our purpose? And we've shared a lot of insight. Mommy has shared a lot of insight, has gone to the Bible and how people identified purpose in the Bible. Now, Tracy, is there anything you want to bring out from what Mommy has said so far?
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So some school of thought, some persons believe that once a single lady or a youth has not been able to, discover their purpose early in life, in their youthful stage, probably 30s, before their 30s and all of that, that they won't ever be able to discover their purpose. How true is that, ma'am?
So is there a particular age?
Particular age.
Well, if you can't discover at that age, you're gone.
God is mighty. God is awesome. I wouldn't say there is an age. If you don't discover the purpose of God for your life, you can never discover it any longer.
Yes.
No, there is something like that. One thing is that you kept on pressing. You kept on pressing. Well, even if you are confused and you have not seen it, it's not yet clear. That's what I want to say. Sometimes it won't be clear. The thing is not clear. Even do you know that Jesus Christ was not very clear until he get to the Garden of Gethsemane? He was still saying, can this purpose be fulfilled? God, it is not my will. Later on, he said he prayed until sweat like a blood was dropping out of him. The fact that you are not so sure does not mean God's purpose cannot be fulfilled in your life. You just keep on pressing in prayer and seeking the face of God.
So, Mom, you're trying to say that every human being on this earth has a purpose.
Everybody has a purpose. And for sometimes, it may not be, you may not get it early. Sometimes it may be later. You may even be fumbling like me. Okay. Something happened concerning my academic life. I wanted to do medicine.
Okay.
And I went in for medicine. So when I got there, I did the purpose of my going in for medicine is that I like caring for people. I like to care for people. So I was wishing in my life that I will be able to get to people. I will take care of them. I will, get into the hospital, take care of people, and later on have hospital of my own, very big. That was my mind, because my ambition. And people, even my uncle saw it, said, BC, you should be a doctor. The way you treat people, you should go and be a doctor and every other thing. In the house, I know where the first aids are. If anybody has anything, I will attend to them. So people were saying it. I too felt like that. But when I got to the school, it's another story altogether. I won't go into that. But I was unable to make it. I repeated 2 times. And still I couldn't pass the second MBA, the MBBS that they normally do. I couldn't make it. So what's the next thing? I was dejected. I was, what is the next line of? So I will not be able to fulfill this particular purpose for my life. Later on, I changed my course. I went to reach microbiology. Okay. And later, I get back to laboratory science, laboratory work, you know, something like that. But I did not know where I'm going to fulfill the purpose. But now it's clearer that it's not hospital, it's people's lives.
Caring.
So at the end of the day, it became clear. I said, if I have, then my husband will tell you, the way you stick to things, I know that's how God, that's why God decided to divert you. Because in the university, we will sit together. I will be the one that the discussion, you know, of exam and everything, I will be leading them, teaching them. But let's get to the place. At the end of the day, even God normally show me the revelation before it comes down. Sometimes I will have 49%, and if you don't have 50%, there's no way of going in. So I will see before the result will come out the next day. I will have seen it that I failed. I will cry on the bed. I say, God, why? I read, I did everything, but no way. It's just blood. My husband said, if you have been a medical doctor, they won't see your face in the church, because anything you believe in, you will so much stick to it. And you will not have time for any other thing. So God saw that zeal in you. He locked it up and said, come
and use it here.
Yeah, this is where I want you to use it. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying we must be flexible concerning. And before I could realize it, that this is when I was already married. You know, I married before I could realize that, oh God, that purpose is being fulfilled. I have hospital of lives of Christians. And what I want to do, and the little knowledge I have in medicine, I'm still using it for people. At least I didn't end it. I still went for laboratory
so what it means is that you even misinterpret purpose. What do I mean by that? So she has said that she had always wanted to be a medical doctor because she cares for people naturally, innately. She now wanted to go for medicine. So, but now, she's still caring for people, but not as a physical medical doctor. So, ma, is it possible that at your level, people at your age group, are they still discovering God's purpose, or they must have misinterpreted it? Is there a possibility?
Thank you for that. And as Mommy was taking us through that testimony, I begin to picture that, you know, we are talking about God's purpose. And we all know that God created each and every one of us for a purpose. And He has given us some passion. Mommy talked about the passion that she had for taking care of women, of people, not only women. And that is exactly what God wants to use. That passion in her is what God really wants her to use to give glory to God. So you see, our ways are not God's way, and the timing of God for us are not our timing. She felt that the only way to care for people is to go into medicine, but God said, look, this is the way I'm taking you. So, and we know that fulfilling purpose is not something that you can peg to a particular period of your life. Fulfilling purpose is a continuous exercise. There are some school of thought that talk about the fact that you don't say when you are at certain age you cannot fulfill purpose again, because you get renewed, and especially when we have relationship with God, when we take this thing to God in prayers. I don't want to believe that she did not hear it right. That was why she decided to go for medicine. But you know, we are all still human beings. But God will direct you when you release yourself to him. You could see that, okay, at a point God had to say, okay, this is the way I want you to go, and she was able to channel it. I cannot say that she find it difficult to see her purpose, but the fact remained that she was able to actually use the passion of caring for people in the ministry, and with that giving glory and pleasure to God, because that passion in her is drawing people to God. So one thing I want us to actually look at is God's purpose for our life is not pegged to a time frame. It is something that we get into as we walk with the Lord. The Lord will continue to reveal to us the way to take, and when we are in obedience, we will actually get to that purpose that He has for us.
If I may come in a bit, I just want us to know that life journey in Christ, when you are in a journey of life with God, all the stages you pass through is not wasted. It's a learning phase. You will still use it when you come into your actual purpose for life. You may use it to minister to others. You may use it to even affect life. And just like Saul then, he said Paul was a lawyer. At the end of the day, when he gets into the actual purpose of God for his life, after he became a tent builder.
After studying law, I'm
practicing. So there are a lot of people, you find them that even they became doctor, but you find them in Cover Hill.
Whoa.
Yeah.
In the work of God, they sold their life into the mission field. That's why their profession that they have gotten. So we find out that purpose in life, so far you are in Christ, you will fulfill it. And the stages you pass through, the challenges you face, and the training you go through is not wasted. You will still use it along the way.
Now, sorry, I have a question. Do you think that it's actually possible for the location and your environment to limit you or stop you from fulfilling purpose? Because sometimes, I'm going to give a vivid example. You can be in a particular place. It could even be in a church, because there are some churches where you don't really get to talk about purpose. You don't really see people who are there to advise you on your field, in your career and all of that. There are no people there. Most times they're just probably old people, and all they're concerned about is join the choir, join the ushers and all of that. And you're a single person, and God is telling you, move from here. There is an assignment I've given you somewhere, but you have probably pastors telling you, you can't go. We need you in this place. You're not hearing well from God. Go back and pray. And you're like, I know what God is telling me. Then you also have your parents. If you leave this church, I will disown you. This is where you were born and you will stay here. I'm your father. And all of these things happen and you are just so confused. Like, how do I move from this place? Ma, what happens in such a situation?
Say it, girl.
Yeah, that's a critical question that we need to face. It's happening, and we know. Sometimes we say, no, sister, you can't leave.
Yes.
Brother, you can't leave. What I want to say is that I've had such examples. When I was in Warri, there was a sister that came to me. He said, Mommy, I want to leave this church. I said, why? He said, I don't know. She's mature enough to marry. He said, I've been here for quite some time. All the things that I acquire, I want to go and manifest it somewhere else. I said, where are you going? He said, let's, just mention it. I just don't want to mention churches here and all of that thing. I will have somewhere to, you've trained me enough, let me go and manifest somewhere. And we pray for her. Because she's doing wonderfully with us. She was she was among the leadership of we call them King's Daughters, the young one, mature one in our own body side there. And she was one of them. I said, Mommy, I'm going. I said, okay, come, let's pray. If that is what you want. And true to God, she went. And 3 years later, she came with a suitor. I said, she wants to get me. I said, okay. I said, thank God, inside my heart, did not stop this. lady. They can, but some, that's what I'm saying, they are just trying to fly about. They are not really, I mean, God is not speaking to them to move. They are not hearing it very well. They just want to move. You may not make anything out of it. One thing I want to say is that you must hear God very well before you begin to jump around. Because jumping around may be frustrating at the end of the day again. So you should hear well, because just let me say, just hear well before you jump around and be certain that God is asking you to move. If not, moving all about is not okay. And again, I can say this concerning, let me say, concerning any organization, Christian organization, we should be able to have some things that we be able to meet the needs of our young ones. Maybe it should be cutting across churches, not just to be a champion in your own local church, in your own local church alone. You should have some things that will bring all of you together once in a while. You'll be able to interact with all others and have a big event like that. We should look into it, and that will make our young ones not to be running away to say, okay, some people will say, I will be saying, where are the guys?
Of course.
That want to marry me.
Of course.
Look at all of them. I can't see anyone.
Of course.
But the guys are there. They are all over the place. In our own church, we have guys.
The ladies confused that the guys are not there, or they are not as ambitious as they are, or the guys will feel like the girls are not pretty.
It's because there are no enough interaction. If we have interaction across the board, across the organization, they are there. That's why we should not be limited to our own indoor program. We should, as an organization, we should spread the tentacle in a way that you can join together. Or that's why we have youth program. We have students have their own.
Yes.
We have different kind of, now we are having we are in next gen, and so you are gathering yourself together. So there will be a lot of interaction here and there. That's what happened in other places that they are running into.
Yes.
But we can have it here also.
Yes. Thank you very much, ma'am. Yes, Mommy Runke, you wanted to speak to some of the things that Mommy has talked about.
Yeah, it's just to buttress the fact that it is key to hear from God, because as Christian, that is our source and that is our root. When you want to take any action, be sure that it is God that is actually leading. We should not allow flesh to rule. You know, the experience that Mommy shared is just 1 in a million. Ordinarily, most leaders will not want to release, especially very useful hand. They will still want to hold on to that hand. But what can be done at that stage is to actually seek the face of God. God is still in the business of directing people. We may say, oh, will he call like he did to Samuel? He has various means of communicating with people, different ways. So we should not, because of our own gain, debar our youth from getting what they're supposed to get. And at the same time, our youth also should be sure of what they are hearing, and we should not allow flesh to rule, but we should allow the Holy Spirit to direct.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, ma'am. We're going to go on a short break right now. When we come back, I want us to speak to purpose and ministry. Are they the same thing? Is my purpose my calling? Is it my ministry? Sit back. After the break, Mommy Aboyeji will give us more insight into this. Thank you. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. We've been talking about purpose. So, Mommy has said a lot of things today. So I want to also ask, is purpose the same thing as my calling? My purpose is this, my calling, is it my ministry?
Once you are born again and you are a child of God, you have a ministry. The Lord has given all of us the ministry of reconciliation. Reconciling the world back to God. That is the ministry. That is our purpose. That's why we are not yet dead.
As believers.
As believers, and even as Christians.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our purpose is to reconcile men back to God.
So whatever we do.
In your home, in your family, at the place of work, everywhere you are, is this ministry of reconciliation that we are giving. So you have a ministry, and that is what we guide you to know. That's why there is no knife to cut and separate purpose and ministry. Once you are born again, you have a ministry. Your ministry becomes your purpose to be fulfilled in God. And most of the time, I was saying, it means that it's also the destiny that you carry, that you want to fulfill purpose. You are having it, and that's why your career is your ministry. You have pulpits everywhere. In your house, you have pulpits there. You don't need to struggle for the one in the church.
Yeah.
Wow.
True. In your place of work, there's pulpit for you there. Wheresoever you may find yourself, there's a pulpit for you there. Reconciling the world back to God. So when you talk about having children and everything, right from day one, you must reconcile that child back to God until he's grown up and is on his own. Then you say, yeah, thank God this child is in God. So you've done that particular purpose in the life of that child. So what I'm saying is that there's no way of separating them. You have a ministry, then you have a purpose, but in God you need to fulfill them. So the only thing we need to ask is grace, plenty grace, because the challenges are there. It's not as simple as we are saying it. Challenges are there. There are a lot of factors that will contribute to fulfilling the ministry and to fulfill the purpose of God. And just like Timothy, just let me talk a little about Timothy. Timothy was a shy person, and Paul has to be telling him, by the laying on of hand, you have already received the ministry. The faith that was in your grandmother and your grandmother and your mother, is on you. The same faith is flowing in your vein. But that's why I said you have not been given, you have not received this spirit of timidity, but sound mind. So he was encouraging Timothy. There are a lot of things that can make people to shy away from the purpose of God, but by encouragement, by the grace of God, by prayer, by studying the word of God, they will fulfill that purpose and will fulfill ministry by doing that.
Quickly, ma, I also want you to speak to the thoughts. So as a woman, and Tracy, as a single lady, she has a purpose. Is her purpose tied to her husband? Or she's single, will her purpose be tied to her husband? As a married woman, is my purpose tied to my husband's purpose? How does this purpose work? Or do we both have individual purposes?
The two will become one.
Yes.
And we cannot separate that. I could remember when I was courting my husband. We court for 5 years. 5 months.
What? 5 years?
Wow.
In those days. So I could remember I was asking, he kept on telling me, I will go to ministry. I will one day go into the ministry. I begin to, and I was still in the school. So I can't understand what he was saying. I was still in the school of nursing. I said, ministry. Okay. I was just, I couldn't understand, but now I can understand. But he too, even when the ministry was there, and they beckoned to him to come and start a ministry, he said, no, God did not tell me it is now. I still have a lot of things to, to sort out. It's not, when it is time, God will tell me it is time to, to drop my job, but I will work. So we rest on that one. So what I'm saying is that your one thing is that we should know is that we are one. And again, for a woman, you should be submissive. There is only
We are
one
here
head. Where there are two heads, there is a monster, and people will run away. So whatsoever may be the purpose, whatsoever may be the ministry, just pray very well and put it under your husband. Let your husband be able to realize it and support you. I know a lot. My husband supports me in some of my ministry. He can support you financially, he can support you with prayer, he can support you by giving you free hand to do it. That's the most important. And there are some husbands that will say, no, this one, you can't do that in this house. It's not that they are not Christian, no. I don't know. But one thing is that you should be submissive. God understands. He said the two shall become one. When concerning my single ones, just keep on doing what God tells you to do. When the times come, when you get to the man's side, you will adjust. Just have it at the back of your mind that there will be adjustments.
Thank you very much, Mommy. Thank you. We've had an amazing time here today, and we have learned so much. I don't know about I've learned so much today. So we're going to round up this session now, and we're going to have a final words to round up this session. Tracy, what have you learned? What have you learned today?
I've learned so much. It's been a very, very thought-provoking and mind-blowing episode. And I will just say a few words. Remember that it's never too late for you to actually fulfill and discover God's purpose in your life. So just keep praying and keep asking Him to lead you and direct you. And I know at the end of the day, you will come out great in Jesus' name.
Amen. Yeah, Mommy, okay?
One thing that I would like us to take home is the fact that we cannot fulfill our God-given purpose with our abilities. It's not by our own strength, but we need to rely on God. And when we rely on Him, we will be able to get to that He has purpose for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma. Mommy, I'm praying you.
Okay. To add to what others have spoken, I've just said that pray the more.
Okay.
Listen to God the more. Seek the face of God the more. If you look at Jeremiah 29 verse 11 to 12 and 13, it says seek His face. Pray. Sort things out with God and you will get there. You won't miss the way by the grace of God.
Thank you, Mommy. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. So thank you, Tracy. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. And thank you to all our viewers at home. I'm sure you've had an amazing time like we have had here. So, and we'd like to hear from you. What do you think of this topic? Does a woman have purpose? How will she identify her purpose? Do you have any question for Mommy Aboyeji? Send us a message. Send us your thoughts and she will respond. So on this note, we thank you for staying by us. Thank you for all the comments. I'm sure you have so many things to say. So we'll come your way next time. Bye for now.